Most people don't need more energy. They need the right kind of energy. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Today, we're talking about something almost all of us reach for, especially if you're building something, studying for certifications, filming content, working long shifts, or grinding through workouts: energy drinks. But here's the real question: do you actually need more energy? Or do you need the right kind of energy? Because there's a huge difference between being amped up and crashing versus clear-headed and productive. And if you're drinking energy drinks for work, studying, filming, or workouts, this conversation matters. Let's break it down. The energy illusion. Most people say, "I'm tired. I need energy." But what they really mean is, "I can't focus. My brain feels foggy. I'm overwhelmed. I'm distracted. I don't feel motivated." That's not always an energy problem. That's often a stability problem. When you slam a high-sugar energy drink, what you get isn't clarity, you get stimulation. And stimulation is not the same thing as focus. It's like turning the volume up on static. Now let's talk about a popular one: Monster Energy. A standard can of Monster contains around 160 milligrams of caffeine, depending on the version, often 50+ grams of sugar in the regular versions, high sweetness load, B vitamins, and amino blends. Here's what that does. The caffeine spikes your alertness. The sugar spikes your blood glucose. Your brain lights up. You feel powerful for about 30 to 90 minutes. But then what happens? Blood sugar drops, cortisol fluctuates, energy crashes, focus dips, you get irritable, you want another one. That cycle is amped up and crashing. It feels productive, but it's unstable. And if you're studying for something intense, like a certification exam, that roller coaster actually hurts long-term retention. If you're filming content, you may look energized, but your thoughts aren't organized. If you're working long shifts, you're burning through adrenaline. That's not sustainable energy. That's borrowed energy. Now, let's talk about excess energy. Excess is marketed as zero sugar, around 80 milligrams caffeine per can, some versions slightly higher. No sugar crash, B vitamins and amino blends. Here's the difference. Without the sugar spike, you don't get that sharp high, but you also don't get the hard crash. The caffeine dose is often lower than traditional high-stim energy drinks, which means less jitters, less cortisol surge, more steady alertness. Instead of feeling hyped, you feel awake. Instead of feeling wired, you feel steady. That's the difference between stimulation and clarity. What happens in your body? Let's simplify the biology. When you consume high sugar plus high caffeine, blood glucose spikes, insulin releases, cortisol increases, dopamine rises quickly, then all of it drops. That drop is the crash. When you consume moderate caffeine without sugar, glucose remains stable, insulin doesn't spike, energy stays more consistent, focus is less chaotic. And for people building businesses, studying, working tech jobs, filming YouTube videos, or working out consistently, stability wins every time. Energy versus performance. Here's the truth. Energy drinks don't create discipline. They don't create clarity. They don't create consistency, but they can either support performance or disrupt performance. If your drink causes brain fog after 2 hours, mood swings, cravings, anxiety spikes, it's hurting your output. If your drink keeps you alert, doesn't spike sugar, doesn't cause jitters, doesn't create dependency cycles, it's supporting your routine. The goal isn't to feel hyped, the goal is to feel capable. For workouts, if you're using energy drinks for workouts, here's another layer. Sugar-heavy drinks can give you short-term explosive power. But if your goal is fat loss, lean muscle, hormonal balance, consistent training, then blood sugar stability matters. High insulin spikes reduce fat burning efficiency. Zero sugar options don't interfere as much with metabolic flow. That's not hype. That's physiology. For content creators and entrepreneurs, if you're filming, studying, coding, editing, writing, you don't need chaos. You need smooth thinking, sustained attention, verbal clarity, mood stability. High sugar drinks can make you talk faster, but not necessarily smarter. Clear-headed productivity feels calm. It feels controlled. It feels intentional, and that's the right kind of energy. The bigger lesson: this isn't really about excess versus monster. It's about awareness. Read the label. Know your caffeine intake. Track how you feel 2 hours later. Notice your mood. Notice your focus. Your body will tell you the truth. If you need 2 cans to survive the day, that's not energy. That's dependency. And sometimes the real solution isn't another drink. It's sleep, hydration, protein intake, sunlight, structured breaks, balanced meals. Energy drinks should supplement a solid system, not replace one. Final thought: most people don't need more energy. They need regulated energy. They need clear thinking. They need stable blood sugar. They need sustainable routines. Amped up and crashing feels dramatic, but clear-headed and productive builds businesses, passes exams, launches channels, changes lives. So next time you reach for a can, ask yourself, am I chasing stimulation or am I supporting performance? Because the right kind of energy doesn't just make you feel awake, it helps you win the day. If this helps you rethink what you're putting into your body, share it with someone who lives on energy drinks. And remember, build your systems around clarity, not chaos. See you in the next episode.